Do you want to give a quick update? I saw the champion names, but with the player icons switched, I did miscall which player was playing which champion. So, welcome to the Solo King. This is a Korean 1v1 tournament featuring all of your favorite players, teams, and champions from this season of Champions. Currently into our final best of 3 of the night as Faker on Azir will be taking on Cain's Kennen. So, some alliteration there. It'll be interesting to see how this works out, and apologies for the champion player mismatch before this, but be interesting to see how this works out considering the summoner spell is chosen, Ignite Flash for both laners, of course on opposite keys. Faker running Flash on D, no, it's Flash on F, whereas Cain is of course committing the cardinal sin of running Flash on D with Ignite on F. So I don't know, maybe he's going to dash his way to victory, but either way, it'll be no sustained starts for either player, no cloth armor, 5 health potions, or anything like that for Cain. It's just going to be Doran's Ring with some Total Biscuits of Rejuvenation, a longsword health potion start there, which I guess is fairly sustain heavy for Cain. He's walking forward and stops Faker's recall. I guess Yordles are meant to be annoying. Cain might actually go for the stop of the recall by walking over around the around the Raptor pit, but was unfortunately unable to stop that. So Faker heads back to base, won't be picking up any extra sustain, just healing off that early harass. And coming into the lane phase, traditionally we've seen Azirs have difficulty with AD carries that can shove them in early on. But Faker's Azir probably shares a few characteristics with Gank by Mom's Azir, which was more than capable of winning his matchups earlier on today. Throwing out the Sand Soldier in the middle of the creep wave, but honestly Cain's shoved it in a little bit more quickly than Faker would have liked, and while he is going to lose 1 CS, should be able to hit most of these additional CS under turret. No, he's actually going to miss not 1 but 2 CS under turret. That's I think that's more than 2. Yeah, he missed 4 CS out of the first wave. Faker having some struggles here versus a Cain's Kennen who is all too willing to just continue auto attacking, shove this wave in over and over again, and start to get off to a little bit of an early CS lead. Of course, I can't emphasize enough how quickly small CS leads can turn into big ones, because specifically determining like the play style that the player wants to play. So for Cain on Kennen, he's going to be looking for a little bit more of an aggressive harass-based style, whereas Faker, I feel like less so harassing Cain as it is just putting on enough pressure so that he can keep the wave from getting shoved into his turret. One strategy to keep the wave from shoving into your turret is to go for this like consistent auto attack harass, because when you auto attack, the enemy minions actually hit your body, they don't hit your minions, so your minions survive a little bit longer and can counter push more effectively. Now that being said, it's actually kind of terrible to just take free damage from minions, but if it means getting the wave in a better situation, oh, level 3 gonna dash on in there with the lightning rush. Ignite can be pushed onto there. Is flash. Will Faker go in for the all in? If he flashes in, he risks getting hit in the face by a Shuriken. One more auto attack. Faker thinking about the flash. Of course, counter flash available there for Cain. Faker hits level 4. He's going to have a big health advantage here over Cain, but Cain will sustain in the lane. Faker, though, probably not a fan of my my rhyme game, but underneath turret, once again, one auto attack away from death, and with a big wave of minions pushing in here, Faker gonna get a equally large CS lead. He's trying to make Cain stop his recall back from base, and it actually will stop that. Stay in lane is going to get a lot of additional experience and gold here. Faker stops his recall as well, so once again, we'll have to shove this wave out while Cain goes back to base. The biggest differential, at least as early on, was CS in favor of Cain, but now Faker has completely turned that around and is actually the one shoving Cain underneath his turret, really just punishing him for A, not bringing teleport, and B, having used his sustain up very early on. The ignites both burned at the same time, but with the range advantage, or at least range harass advantage off of Sand Soldiers, which, you know, don't cause Faker to take damage. Cain's, of course, back behind his turret. This is a terrible position to be in if you're Cain. And I'm not sure exactly what he's trying to accomplish here. He might have been looking for Faker to push through the turret, but Cain is just recalling out of sight. Ward placed in the lane there by Faker just to make sure that Cain is actually completely out of there. Heads back to base and whoa, a Fiendish Codex buy. This is the first Fiendish Codex that we've seen out of the entire tournament, and what's almost more interesting than the Codex is Cain's pickup of a Longsword and Amplifying Tome. And if you want to count the number of items to build out of that, I mean, you got Hextech Gunblade, which we'll never see built up in time, Trinity Force as well. But all big ticket items that you're never going to see them combined into. So for Cain's Kennen, Cain has been a player this tournament that has done a number of confusing things. From AP Nasus to Leona picks versus Malzahar. Maybe not things that you would necessarily expect, but we'll see if it is good enough to win this matchup. Holy hell. Sand Soldiers, while they do evaporate a little bit more quickly underneath turret, kind of mission accomplished there for Secret Agent Sand Soldier. Who's already putting the pain down onto Cain's Kennen. Faker with the auto attack cancels just for some extra style points. Recognizes he is solidly in the lead by almost 20 CS here at 6.5 minutes. Faker might just win off CSing, kind of fighting himself here, just to pick up as much CS as possible. Now 50 to 30 CS, and more importantly, Faker's Azir kills turrets ridiculously quickly. With the use of a Rise on turrets, you get true damage on a turret just by using a skill. You can use it in between your auto attacks. So it's just an incredibly high damage way to kill turrets early on. And so Faker's got a lot of options. Does he win by CS? Does he win by killing the turret? I think turret kill might actually be a little bit more likely. Faker will have to play this carefully. There's the flash in. He's going to get a lot of stuns there. Faker will get that Emperor's Divide, but Ignite is taking down. Is Faker dead from this one? Does have to micro behind the minions just to avoid this Razor Shuriken. There's flash in there. He's going to look for the shield. The counter kill. Ignite ticking down there, but Kennen very low as well. Faker will get a level up to level 7. Holy cow, this lane is ridiculous. Faker has already picked up a kill in this lane on my vocal cords, completely devastating them, and we'll look for damage on this turret, spamming out those auto attacks, and I think he just wins the game off this. There's the Arise cast on the turret, and Faker will take down game number 1. Some intense action. He'll spawn a turret of his own there, winning this 1v1 versus Cain. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Solo King, a Korean 1v1 tournament featuring your favorite players, teams, and champions from this season of Champions, of course broadcast here on Azubu TV. My name is Reed Rapid Melton, and I do want to welcome you to game number 2 in this best of 3 series between Faker and Cain. The winner will advance out of their group stage to the playoffs. Loser will go home, and for Cain, he is kind of up against the wall here. 0-1. Faker choosing Annie into his misfortune. Gonna go for a little bit of early trade action. Of course, Cain actually winning that exchange. Cain has put his first point into double up, and traditionally you want to save your skill point, but the matchup doesn't actually change depending on what point you put where. So you're probably gonna go with the same thing early on anyway. Earlier on, we did see Zephyr go for a very interesting misfortune strategy by walking around through the bush, getting a flank onto the mid laner level 1, and putting impure shots damage stacked up as he chased him down using that strut passive. But it's going to be a slightly different situation here for Cain, and what's most interesting here is that he actually didn't go back to base and pick up an extra potion. That is a little bit of an error when it comes to starting with a crystalline flask. Faker, though, has been... he's starting with a cloth armor and 5 health potions. Faker's Annie builds remind me of Dr. Mundo builds because he pretty much goes where he pleases as far as itemization is concerned. And, you know, Faker's going to take less damage from that cloth armor, but, you know, Doran's rings have really been the start for Faker on most of his champions. And the reason he actually lost his previous Annie game is just off of not having enough straight-up damage, not going for that the Doran's ring. And now we'll be losing these trades versus Cain's more auto attack centric misfortune. Faker continuing just to CS there with Incinerate. Actually does have the CS advantage, so at least that's something that he will have his in favor, at least momentarily, before the number of creeps in lane evens out. Oh, misses a CS there, so he'll go down one early on. Lands a nice stun. There's Incinerate in for the follow-up damage, and to be honest, for Annie, you actually probably want to go for more of a farm-based survival until level 6 strategy, because I don't know a misfortune out there that in just a solid 1v1 matchup can sustain versus Annie's level 6 burst, specifically if you harass them down with Incinerates earlier on. But you can see the continual Pyromania stuns coming up, and even though they're only like 1.25 seconds, still gives you free trades with you know, Incinerate and Disintegrate. So you're going to like disintegrate them and then incinerate them. I feel like that should be song lyrics. Pretty sure Doa had a band in high school named Disintegrate Incinerate, something along those lines. Would have been kind of a metal band, but I'll have to ask him after this. Or if you guys want to tweet at GGDoa and let him know, ask him if that was the case. I'm sure he'll be glad to respond. So Faker being shoved up underneath this turret. Make it rain all over him with those bullets coming down from Arcade Misfortune. What that actually is, I will never know. Misfortune somehow uses her magical powers to cause light to rain down from the heavens, and somehow that light does damage. Great mysteries of the universe here for League of Legends. But as far as the 1v1 matchup between the actual players is concerned, Faker's actually having a little bit of trouble here. He's actually forced to use his Pyromania stun there on just CSing a minion under turret. Actually should be forced to do that quite a bit more as the waves continue to press in. Look at the auto attack for the CS there. Nope. He is still ahead though. Over a full minion wave, and that's with getting shoved into turret. Mine are all in there, but the big difference is that Cain actually got stunned inside Faker's cannon minion creep wave. And after Faker's Annie actually died to a cannon minion earlier on, you all know how strong cannon minions are, so probably want to avoid walking into the cannon minion. Oh, there's the flash! The stun! The ignite's down as well, but I don't think it's going to be a kill. Immediate flash out from Cain. Holy hell, those reflexes to flash out at just the last second. Cain making it out there, and I'm not sure if it was Faker, or I want to say it was Faker, who pulled off almost the exact same play in a highlight video I saw on Reddit a few months ago. Going for that all in, but Cain's got the reflexes to make it out of there alive. Faker actually going to back in the creep wave all the way back to base. Keep in mind, it's flash ignite for both players, but with ignite still available here for Cain, so his level 6 all in might be a little bit more powerful. Look at the itemization. He's got the makings of, what is that, maybe a Hex Drinker? Probably won't ever actually complete that itemization because somebody's going to die in this lane, and Faker's already had one death on Annie. Probably not looking for a second one. So with Cain's Summoner Spell advantage, he's going to be able to play this matchup maybe a little bit more aggressively. Faker comes back into lane with double Doran's rings and some sustain. So the null magic, or not null magic, yeah, it is null magic mantle, not Negatron cloak quite yet. Faker's still with a lot of damage. I don't think that null magic mantle was the answer here. Faker better store up a Pyromania stun here. If he doesn't, then he's going to be very at risk to bullet time, just being channeled from a range that you won't be able to initiate on. There's level 6. There is Mr. Tibbers. The Pyromania stun's gonna go down. Faker microing forward there in between. Will this be the all-in? Last auto attack is not enough. He's sending. Mr. Tibbers gets pulled back out from underneath that turret. Faker with the all-in, unsuccessful at picking up a kill, but still able to push Cain out of lane. We'll see what Cain can gain from staying in lane, or will Faker be enough of a pain to blow up his brains. That's about all I got. You can add me on Twitter at Eminem. It's my alternate account. But at least for right now, Faker versus Cain, somewhat in Faker's favor. He's about 5 CS advantage, not really anything devastating that can't be made up by Cain. But coming back from base, has completed a Hex Drinker, and similar to the Fiendish Codex that Faker was able to pick up in game number 1, actually represents one of the only second tier items that we actually see being bought here in the Solo King tournament. Decent CS as well, so maybe made possible by CSing like this. But at the same time, Faker's going to come back from base with now an amplifying tome for even more damage. It does take a very bad impure shots trade. Gonna need to clear out this minion wave just a little bit more before he goes for any kind of crazy all-in shenanigans. And we'll have Tibbers back available in just about 15 seconds. Will represent another all-in opportunity. Needs to watch out for taking too much Make It Rain damage. Another Pyromania stun there. Faker does have Tibbers up there. He's going to look for an Ignite now. Here's the all-in that he's looking for. Walks into the creep wave. There's the Hex Drinker. Will it be the burn from Tibbers? It will. Have you seen his Bear Tibbers? I think the answer is yes. Faker wins game number 2, and with a 2-0 victory over Cain, will advance to the playoffs, sending Cain home. We're going to get a quick instant replay there on your stream. You can see the turnaround Ignite. Minions are doing damage. A nice Hex Drinker to block the Tibbers damage, but in the end, Mr. Tibbers, guys, is gonna have the final word. Faker with a 2-0 victory over Cain.